Guys, Martin here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to be taking a look at the last of the World Tournament units that has released / EZA'd for this World Tournament, and that is the STR Hell Fighter 17. Now, this guy, on paper, like his EZA seems like he could be pretty decent. The problem is, like a lot of these World Tournament units when they come out, or like when they get their awakenings or EZAs, is he doesn't really have a lot of teams. Like if we look at his categories, right, he's on androids, artificial life forms, target Goku, and mission execution. The vanilla cards thing is just a thing for the private server, right, because he's not a custom card. So he doesn't actually have any 220 leaders in the game. So we're running him on like a double Super 17 team just to showcase him here, which obviously means androids 4 key 170. It's not ideal. Like, it's a real shame that STR Cell didn't have a better leader skill for like bringing the androids team back into like a, you know, a good place. We could have got some EZAs like this that would have then gone really nicely on that team, but it is what it is. So we'll take a look at him here, bearing in mind he's under a double 170 lead. He greatly raises attack and defense in 1 turn on super, supreme damage, and greatly lowers attack, which I mean is pretty good for enemies that can still be attack lowered. There are some. Attack and defense 250, high chance to dodge. Androids, allies 1 key and 35% attack and defense. Artificial life forms, allies 1 key at 35% attack and defense. So I mean, this is some pretty crazy support for characters that are androids and artificial life forms. 2 key and 70% attack and defense. It's pretty good. And then when attacking with 12 or more key, 200% attack and defense and chance to dodge 17%. So his dodge chance goes up to 67% after he's attacked. And then, well, as long as you've got 12 key, which you should always get realistically. When there's another android or artificial life form ally on the team, attack and defense 170, launch an additional super. I mean, this is really good, like very easy restriction. When there's another android or artificial life form ally in the same turn, another 170% attack and defense and chance to dodge 17%. So that makes his total dodge like 84%, I think. Yeah. Was it? Yeah, 84%, which is pretty good for this guy, considering that, you know, for a showcase we're going to keep him on rotation, but he should really just be a floating 3rd slot unit. Like, that's pretty good. So bear in mind, we've got Gamma 1 on the rotation. I mean, I've ran out of like good androids to put on the team. He does give all allies key 1 and 30% defense, so we're getting a bit of an extra buff here. We've got 453k defense at the start of the turn. Remember that when he attacks with 12 key, he gets 200% extra. So that puts him up to like 1.4 million, and he is greatly raising on his super as well. But all that really means is that against some of the tougher bosses, he might be able to tank some normals, but like obviously he's not going to be tanking super attacks. But of course, that's where that 84% chance to dodge comes in, right? Like obviously his best hidden potential build, like most floating slot 3 support units, would be full dodge, and so ideally he just never gets hit, right? Now events that disable dodge, obviously not going to be very good for him, but yeah, let's see. I mean, to remember as well, that's on a double 170 lead. So when he is actually on a 220 team, it'll be a little bit higher, but still, you know, not to the point where he's going to be tanking super attacks or anything, obviously. But it's a shame, of course, the way the bosses categories work being so annoying, because if he was just on GT bosses, then he would have a lot more options and, you know, potentially actually be a decent addition to some of these. I mean, realistically though, he'd only really be helping Super 17, but yeah, so let's see, 16.5. I mean, for a support unit, that's not too bad. He gets a guaranteed additional as well, 17.7. So that means he greatly raises his defense again. So his defense, even on this turn, is probably like close to 2 million. So, you know, he's going to be tanking most normals until we get to the hardest hitting bosses, and then hopefully dodging otherwise with that 84% chance to dodge. Look at that, Gamma 1 actually finishing him off here and not getting hit. Let's go. But yeah, this is just the biggest problem with these World Tournament units that they seem to do on a fairly regular basis, where these units come out and even if they have like a relatively decent kit, they just don't, like, they don't have a team to go on. It happened last time with characters like the Anin got her EZA, the DB Saga one. I might as well put you in slot 1 and just, you can potentially just die and then revive and we go straight on to the next turn. But Yeah, they do this all the time with the World Tournament units, and it's really annoying because sometimes some of these units feel like they could have some potential, and then they just release them at a time where they don't have any, like they don't have a team to go on, they don't have the right units. Like that Umbrella Goku, like seems like he could be pretty decent, but you've got to run him with a World Tournament ally, which realistically, in terms of current meta relevant units, you know, not exactly spoilt for choice. In an upcoming World Tournament at some point soon, we should get the EZA for that Int Jackie Chun. And obviously that will be useful because he'll be a strong World Tournament character. But then, of course, that Goku could be potentially really good on things like a Goku family team, which Jackie Chun obviously will not be on. So it just seems to be this recurring pattern that they do with these World Tournament cards, where it's almost like they never really have a chance, even if they are pretty good, like on paper. The only exceptions have been things like Mr. Boo, who obviously was very, very good. Yeah, 20 mil on the second super here. That's pretty good. Because I think Super 17 does give some support as well, doesn't he? And then, yeah, there's the double dodge from Hell Fighter 17. So, I mean, for a unit that is basically here on the team, like, he's doing a little bit of damage, you know, 16 to 20 million attack stat for a support unit, not bad, especially when he's going to get a double super. Dodging all the attacks and then giving the other Android artificial lifeform characters 70% attack and defense. Like, on paper, all of that seems really, really good. It's just like, yeah, he's just not in a great position in terms of where we're actually running him. Like I say, Cell's leader skill is probably one of the bigger fumbles of some of these filler Dokkan Fest releases that we've seen in this year. Like, focusing him more around, like, tournament participants, I think was such a weird choice. Like, he really could have been, like, if he had a really good leader skill that gave, you know, almost all the androids in the game a 220 lead, even though androids would still not be like a top tier team or anything, it means when we get some of these EZAs like Hell Fighter 17, the Tech Future 17 and 18 should be getting their EZA probably sometime within the next few months. And they're not going to have a team to go on. I guess maybe they'll EZA with the release of a character that will give them a proper leader skill. But yeah, Cell being the first like extreme Dokkan Fest in a while, like when he came out, there were high hopes for what his leader skill could potentially be. And then, yeah, them focusing it around tournament participants is definitely not something that I think many people expected, right? Because, yeah, this guy seems pretty good. Like, Super 17 gets a massive amount of benefit. Like, imagine if this guy was on GT bosses. Imagine how good Super 17 would be on the Omega team, with like this Hell Fighter 17 giving him 70% attack and defense, and then the Omega giving him 70% defense and 10% damage reduction. Like, he'd be super good, but obviously that is, you know, unfortunately, the bosses categories got shafted heavy with the heroes categories. You know, every single superclass character from GT basically is on GT Heroes, as long as they're actually in GT. So like we're looking at you, Super Saiyan 3, GT Vegeta. But all of the extreme characters, no, they're not GT bosses. It's only the actual boss of the arc is on GT bosses. So it means no GT bosses for Hell Fighter 17, which is a huge shame. I mean, again, to be fair, like, would you even run him on the optimal Omega team if you were running Super 17? Probably not, because he really is only there helping and supporting Super 17, because he's not helping anyone else. I mean, artificial life forms, actually, I guess, because he does buff them separately, and then they get both the buffs if they're on both. So Baby would obviously benefit from the artificial life forms buffs. So, I mean, I guess there is that. What does your thing do again? I can't even remember. Oh yeah, it gives him extra stats for the rest of the battle. Might as well go ahead and use that, I suppose. And, you know, put you in slot 1 for now. Do that. Get the orbs for Tech Cell. Because, yeah, I mean, like, STR Cell isn't even really that old, and he's a unit that is just really not that great anymore. I mean, he wasn't that great on release. His team got some buffs and stuff afterwards. But Yeah, a little bit disappointing. It's funny because this guy's absorbing almost all of our characters' super attacks, so it's taking a while to get through this phase. But realistically, we're not here to just like to beat the event, right? It's just to see what Hell Fighter 17 can do. And I think overall, I would say he's been pretty impressive, considering double 170 leads. Like the attack stats, we've gotten up to as high as like 22 mil. And he's dodged, I think, every single attack that's come at him as well so far. So pretty decent performance, and obviously like on a double 220 lead, those attack stats are going to be a little bit higher. Like this guy, if we get a new meta like Android team dropping like sometime soon, then I feel like this guy could actually be good on that team, right? It just depends like how long it takes, because that's always the worst thing with these EZAs. Like they come out, they have potential, and then they don't get a team that would really be able to harness that potential for like 6 months, and then by the time that happens, the unit is then actually outdated and not usable. It's like we talked about on the stream the other day. I'm really disappointed with like how good AGL free-to-play LR Super Saiyan Bardock was when he came out, or like the potential that he had, and he still doesn't have a proper good 220% team. He's on the Tech Wrathful Broly 220% team, but he wants to be run with superclass allies, and obviously he doesn't share a lot of links with the Broly. Like if he'd got on a 220 team within like a month or two of him releasing, I feel like he would have had a good solid spot on that team potentially. Whereas now, if he gets a 220 lead release, like, I mean, I guess it could be the filler Dokkan Fest before the end of the year, but let's say one of the anniversary headliners gives him a 220 lead, depending how difficult the anniversary content is, like, he won't be usable in the anniversary content. So the fact that it took that long for him to get a proper 220 lead with actual units that he links well with and stuff like that, super, super annoying when they do stuff like that. So hopefully we get some sort of androids renaissance soon. I mean, Tech 17 and 18 are getting close to now being amongst that group of like the older characters that don't have an EZA yet. But yeah, I'm not really sure if it's something that we'll see anytime soon. One of the speculations that we talked about is like Tank Top Trunks, the one that goes back to the future to defeat the androids after the Cell games. That could be a pretty cool Dokkan Fest. Then you get like the AGL Trunks EZA, you get the Tech Androids EZA, AGL Future Gohan and Trunks. And then yeah, we could get some decent like android stuff on the go. But yeah, I mean, I guess they'd have to do like, imagine that they did Dokkan Fest like that Trunks, and then the part 2 LR was like reversible exchange 17 and 18, and that's when we then get the Tech Future 17 and 18 EZA, like, and then there we go, androids. Because I guess depending on when they release, they could be the like December Carnival, and then they would have like, they could just have like androids 220%, which, you know, again, it's a category that needs extra buffs, but we'd hope that in that celebration they would drop a bunch of these EZAs. Obviously this Hell Fighter 17, technically the 17 and 18 aren't artificial life forms, but enough of the units that could potentially be on the team would be, that I think that would be pretty good. But let me know what you guys think. What would you like to see them release in order to revamp the Android team? I know people have been talking about, like, Legends did a 13 not that long ago, and we still don't have a Dokkan Fest or LR, like, standalone Super Android 13. We have the transforming one. But that could be something that could be pretty interesting. Alright, he's sealed again. Let me put him in slot 1 here, just because we want to see, I want to see him dodging again. Like, if he dodges all the attacks here, we could probably wrap it up with this turn anyway. We've seen, because he doesn't stack or anything like that, we're not going to see much different from what we've seen already so far. But yeah, I think he could be pretty good, because you imagine, like, he's in slot 3 on this Android team, potentially, new Android team that comes out hopefully soon, so that he's not completely outdated. That 16 and 17 million attack stat then becomes something more like 20 to 25. And then, yeah, he just dodges every attack, so you don't take any damage. Obviously, it's RNG, and he could quite easily get hit and you die. But, like, that's the kind of thing you want from a slot 3 floating unit. They're providing a huge amount of stats to the rest of the rotation, and then ideally, they can dodge or have whatever defensive capability so that they don't get you killed in slot 3. And I think so far, unless there's one I missed, like, I'm fairly sure he's dodged every single attack of the entire, like, video. So I mean, that's, you know, 84% chance to dodge. It's pretty good. So this guy, I think, has absolute huge potential. The biggest problem is he just needs a proper good team to be run on, because there really isn't like a strong androids team currently. I mean, the fact that we're running double Super 17 as an android lead is something, all right. I mean, Gamma 1 and 2 should get their EZAs fairly soon as well, and despite being super class, obviously they buff all allies, which is kind of helpful. And of course they are androids. Are they artificial life forms as well? They are, right? Yeah, of course, because it's part of his leader skill. Yeah, so definite potential, because he doesn't care about super or extreme class. It's just androids and artificial life forms, and then he wants one of those on the team, and ideally one of them on the rotation with him. So if he's a floating slot 3 unit, you just need one unit on both of your main rotations to be an android or artificial life form character, and then his full passive is active. So yeah, he seems really good. He seems like he's got really good potential. The problem is, the potential is the key word, and if we don't get a good android or artificial life form team for him to go on for another like 6 months, then he's just not going to be usable by the time that team comes out. I mean, I guess I say that 84% chance to dodge. I mean, even in a meta where he gets one tapped by normals, as long as you get that good RNG for the dodging, you could still get away with using him, I guess. But I suppose we'll have to wait and see. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.